Clicking on the document page, so you can see that that's highlighted in my pages panel here. If I want to add more pages, all I need to do is go to the little flyout menu at the top of the layers panel. See these three little lines here? And click on Insert Pages. It asks me how many pages I want and where I want to put them. And when I click OK, you can see it adds them to my pages panel. The other way to do this is just to click on the master page and drag it down to the document page, and you can see that's also added a page here. So two ways to add new pages. Now going back to page 1 here, I'm going to be adding some text to my document. I'm also going to be placing some images in. We'll start with the text. I'll click on the text tool again, and I'm going to click and drag to create a text frame. You'll notice that I've actually added, used the guidelines to position it, of the grid guidelines. You can import text from Microsoft Word. You can also import it from a rich text or even a text document, plain text document. You can also type directly into InDesign. For this, I'm just going to add some placeholder text. So placeholder text under the type menu, when I pull my cursor down to where it says fill with placeholder text, you can see it's filled it up with some Latin gibberish. The typeface is Minion Pro. So if I go to the top here in my control strip, you can see Minion Pro regular. The size is 12 points. Now, if you were going to print this, 12 points would actually be on the big side. But when you're producing something that's going to be read on screen, 12 points is actually a good starting point. You might want to check the legibility of your text, and you might actually even might want to make it a bit bigger. I'm going to leave it at 12 point for now. I'm going to place my cursor anywhere in the, just click anywhere in the text frame. And I'm going to go Edit, Select All. Command A is a handy shortcut. Now, when you're choosing typefaces, you want to find one that is doesn't have a lot of very thick and thin components like this one does. If it has skinny little serifs, or if the top of the counter is very thin, it might actually not show up, or might be, depending on who's looking at it on what kind of a screen, it might actually disappear, and that will definitely affect the legibility of the type. So I'm going to change this from Minion, and I'm going to select a typeface called Myriad. You'll notice as I go down the type panel here, a list of typefaces here, I get an instant preview of all the typefaces that I run over, and I'm actually going to go to, instead of Minion, I'm going to select a typeface called Myriad, which is a little bit thicker, might be a little bit more legible. Leaving it on 12 points. The other thing I might want to change is the leading. The X height is the height of the letters compared to the height of the typeface. And if the X height is kind of high, which is it is here, your typeface will actually look better with a little bit more leading. So I'm going to change this to 18. And I'm thinking that's a bit too much. So I'm going to go down here and try 16, and that actually doesn't look too bad. A little bit more leading gives a little bit more space between the lines, makes it easier for your eye to go to the end of the line and back to the beginning of the next one. So that is type and type size and leading. The next component I'm going to add here is a heading. So I'm just going to click and drag up here and create a text frame. Change my face back to Myriad. One of the nice things about InDesign is that when you've used a typeface, it moves it to the top of the list here, so I can actually find it. Maybe I'll try Myriad Bold Italic. And I'll click in here and type, this is a heading. And again, you need a hierarchy so that people know which are the headings and which are the the body text, and makes it a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to highlight this. And let's try 24 point. It's already bold italic, so it's heavier than that. If I want to add a color, maybe I want to have it match that heading there, that the bar that's on my master page. If I click on color, or sorry, on swatches, you'll see that I've got the dark screen swatch here. And that has changed my type to that color. Now, here's another reason. It's nice to have this in your swatches panel, because wherever when you go to someplace else in your document where you want to use it, you don't have to stop and think, what color was that again? I'll show you the other nice thing about this, and that is if I click on this swatch and double click it, double click the swatch, brings up this little panel here. And I can actually, let's say I've decided it's a bit too dark, or it needs to be a little bit more blue or something. I can change it here, and anywhere in the document where I've actually used that, you'll notice that wherever I've used that swatch, it's changed the color. So the heading here. So if you use that in 10 different places in your document, you don't have to go through and find them all. If you want to change the color, you just change the swatch and it changes the color automatically.